The morning sun cast long shadows across Earth Defense Force headquarters as Admiral James Miller stared at the massive display screen. Red dots appeared at the edge of the solar system, moving in a formation too perfect to be natural. After 30 years of service, he knew this moment would come. Humanity wasn't alone anymore. "Sir, objects approaching Jupiter's orbit. Speed suggests advanced propulsion systems," reported Lieutenant Mark from his station. His voice remained steady, but his fingers trembled slightly over the controls. Miller nodded, his gray eyes fixed on the screen. "How many?" 23 vessels, sir. Largest one is about 3 kilometers in length." The command center buzzed with controlled activity. Years of drills and preparation were finally being put to the test. Miller pressed a button on his command chair, opening a secure channel to the World Council. "Madam President, they're here." President Wilson's voice came through, clear and determined. "Understood, Admiral. Activate Protocol 7. Let's see what they want before showing our hand." The alien ships moved with precision through the solar system, their sleek designs unlike anything humans had officially encountered. Their hulls gleamed with a metallic purple sheen that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. As the fleet passed Mars, Earth's long-range scanners detected energy buildups within the alien vessels. Miller watched as his crew maintained their composure, each member following years of carefully planned protocols. "Incoming transmission, sir," announced Communications Officer Lisa Brown. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies." "Put it through," Miller ordered, straightening his uniform. The main screen flickered, revealing a humanoid figure with pale blue skin and ornate armor. Its eyes were completely black, and multiple medals decorated its chest. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English, causing several crew members to exchange glances. "I am Grand Admiral Thex of the Galactic Imperial Fleet. Your world has been monitored for some time, and the Empire has deemed you worthy of attention." Miller's jaw tightened. They had expected this, the condescending tone, the assumption of superiority. It was all part of their profile. The alien continued, "Your technological advancement has reached the threshold for incorporation into the Empire. This is a great honor. You have 24 Earth hours to prepare your leaders for formal submission ceremonies." President Wilson's voice came through on a private channel. "Admiral, implement Phase 2. Let's show them how Earth responds to demands." Miller allowed himself a small smile. "Grand Admiral," he addressed the alien, "Earth appreciates your attention. However, we require clarification. Is this an invitation to join the Empire or an attempt at conquest?" The alien's expression shifted slightly, something between amusement and annoyance. "There is no difference, human. The Empire does not invite. It commands. Resistance would be unfortunate." "I see," Miller replied calmly. "Then I suggest you check your historical records, Grand Admiral. Humanity doesn't respond well to commands from foreign powers." The alien's black eyes narrowed. "You dare to?" "Furthermore," Miller continued, "entering a sovereign system with armed vessels and making demands is an act of aggression. You have 1 hour to retreat beyond Pluto's orbit." Laughter erupted from the alien commander. "Or what, primitive? Your weapons are centuries behind ours. Your ships are confined to your own system. The Empire's might is beyond your comprehension." Miller glanced at a secondary screen showing green lights across all defense sectors. Everything was in position. "Perhaps, but comprehension works both ways, Grand Admiral. You don't know us. You don't know what we're capable of. And more importantly," he leaned forward, "you don't know what we've been preparing for." The alien transmission cut off abruptly. The enemy fleet began moving into attack formation. "All stations, battle positions," Miller commanded. "Activate the quantum grid. Let's show the Empire why Earth isn't accepting new management." As klaxons sounded throughout the base, Miller sent a final message to all Earth forces. "This is what we trained for, people. Let's make history." The first shots of humanity's war for independence were about to be fired, and the Galactic Empire was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating Earth. The Imperial ships fired their first volley, expecting an easy victory. Their purple-tinted energy beams sliced through space towards Earth's orbit. Grand Admiral Thex watched with satisfaction from his command ship, already planning how he would accept Earth's surrender. But something unexpected happened. The energy beams hit an invisible wall about 50,000 kilometers from Earth. They didn't explode or scatter. They simply vanished. The Empire's most powerful weapons disappeared like raindrops falling into an ocean. Impossible. Thex slammed his fist on his command chair. Scan that area again. Before his crew could respond, small lights began appearing all around his fleet. Hundreds of them, then thousands, twinkling like stars, but moving with purpose. Each light was a satellite, previously invisible to Imperial scanners. In Earth Defense Force headquarters, Admiral Miller watched the Empire's confusion with grim satisfaction. "Quantum defense grid is holding at 100%, reported Lieutenant Mark. "All satellites are online and responding." "Begin Phase 2, Miller ordered. "Captain Gray, you have permission to engage." Hidden among the asteroids near Mars, Captain Robert Gray commanded Earth's first line of real defense, a fleet of ships that looked primitive on the outside but held humanity's most advanced technology within. All ships, Battle Formation Delta. Gray's voice was calm and steady. "Remember your training. These aliens might have better guns, but we have better pilots. Launch." 50 Earth ships emerged from their hiding spots. They looked small and weak compared to the Imperial vessels, exactly as planned. The Empire's fleet turned to face this new threat, their weapons charging. "Poor humans," Thex laughed. "They send these tiny ships against us. Fire at will." The Imperial fleet launched another barrage. This time, instead of hitting a barrier, their shots passed right through the Earth ships like they weren't there. Holograms. Thex's laughter died in his throat as the real Earth fleet appeared behind his ships, emerging from perfect cloaking fields. "Fire," ordered Captain Gray. Earth's ships released their weapons, not energy beams or plasma, but thousands of tiny robots that attached themselves to the Imperial ships' hulls. The robots began drilling, each carrying a payload of quantum disruptors. "What is this?" Thex watched in horror as his ship's shields flickered and died. "How do they have this technology?" In the command center, Miller opened a channel to the Imperial flagship. "Wondering how we did it, Grand Admiral. Those crashed scout ships you lost over the last 50 years. We found them all, studied them, improved them." The Imperial fleet tried to regroup, but their formations were broken. Earth's ships, smaller and more agile, darted between the massive Imperial vessels, targeting engines and weapon systems with surgical precision. "Sir," Lieutenant Mark called out, "the enemy is attempting to retreat." Miller nodded. "Let them try. Activate the gravity anchors." Hidden stations around Mars powered up, creating localized gravity wells that caught the Imperial ships like flies in honey. Their advanced engines, designed for space without artificial gravity fields, struggled against forces they weren't built to handle. Within 20 minutes, 5 Imperial ships were disabled. 7 more had suffered severe damage. The rest hung trapped in space, unable to escape or fight effectively. "Grand Admiral," Miller's voice carried no mockery, just quiet strength. "I suggest you reconsider your position. Earth is not defenseless. We are not primitive, and we are not interested in joining your empire." On his damaged flagship, Thex stared at his tactical display in disbelief. Half his fleet was crippled by an enemy that shouldn't have been able to scratch their paint. This is impossible." "No," Miller replied. "This is humanity. We've been preparing for threats like you for generations. You're not the first to think us weak. You won't be the last to learn otherwise." As emergency signals flashed across his bridge, Thex realized he had made a terrible mistake. The Empire had gravely underestimated Earth, and now they would pay the price for their arrogance. The battle for Earth had only just begun, and humanity was winning. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility unknown to the Empire, Dr. Emma Clark stood before the World Council. Behind her, through massive reinforced windows, rows of advanced ships stretched into the darkness of an underground hangar. "Project Phoenix is ready," she announced, her voice echoing in the chamber. "We've kept these ships hidden for 15 years, building them using everything we learned from captured Imperial technology." The council members murmured among themselves. On the main screen, they could see the battle near Mars still raging. While Earth's defense grid held strong, everyone knew the Empire would send more ships. "How many ships do we have, Dr. Clark?" asked President Wilson. 300 fully operational vessels, Madam President, each one carrying technology the Empire thinks is impossible for us to have." Emma touched a control panel, bringing up detailed holograms of the ships. "But that's not our real advantage." Admiral Miller, joining via secure link from the command center, leaned forward. "Explain." "The Empire believes they've been watching us," Emma said with a slight smile. "But we've been watching them for much longer. Those ships that crashed on Earth over the years, they weren't accidents." The room fell silent. "We brought them down," Emma continued. "Earth's governments united in secret 50 years ago, when we detected the Empire's first probe. We knew they were coming, so we prepared. Every crashed ship was carefully selected and disabled using methods that looked natural." On the screen, Captain Gray's forces had surrounded another Imperial vessel. The Empire's superior shields meant nothing against Earth's targeted quantum attacks. "Each crash gave us more technology to study," Emma explained. "We learned their weaknesses, their blind spots. The ships behind me aren't just copies of Imperial technology. They're better. We fixed their flaws, improved their designs, created defenses against their weapons." President Wilson stood up. "How long until these ships can join the battle?" "They're ready now," Emma replied. "We have trained crews standing by. We just needed to wait until the Empire revealed their main attack strategy." In orbit, another Imperial ship fell to Earth's defenders. The remaining enemy vessels tried to regroup, not realizing they were being herded into position. "Launch Protocol Omega," President Wilson commanded. "Dr. Clark, show the Empire what humanity can really do." Deep in the mountain, massive doors opened, hidden launch bays across Earth activated. The ships of Project Phoenix rose into the sky, their advanced stealth systems making them invisible to both Imperial sensors and naked eyes. In the command center, Admiral Miller watched as new friendly signals appeared on his tactical display. "Battle group leaders, report in." One by one, commanders of Earth's secret fleet announced their presence. These weren't just warships. They were humanity's answer to Imperial technology. 15 years of reverse engineering, improving, and preparing had created something unprecedented. "All Phoenix units," Miller ordered, "execute attack pattern Delta. Show them what those ships can really do." The Empire's remaining forces suddenly found themselves surrounded by ships appearing out of nowhere. Ships that moved faster than their own, with weapons that bypassed their strongest defenses. "Impossible," Grand Admiral Thex shouted as new alarms blared. "Their technology, it's more advanced than ours." "Not more advanced," Emma's voice came through on all channels. "Just better understood. You gave us the tools, Admiral. We simply learned how to use them properly." The Phoenix ships struck with devastating precision. Their quantum-tipped weapons, designed specifically to counter Imperial defenses, cut through the enemy fleet like paper. In the mountain facility, Emma watched the battle with the World Council. "This is only the beginning," she said quietly. "The Empire thought they were coming to collect a primitive species. Instead, they found something they never expected." "And what's that?" asked a council member. "Their replacement," Emma answered, watching as another Imperial ship fell to Earth's defenders. "Humanity isn't joining the Empire. We're going to change it. The battle continued above Earth, but now everyone knew this wasn't just a fight for survival. It was humanity's step onto the galactic stage, and they were making quite an entrance. Red emergency lights flashed across Earth's command center as Admiral Miller studied the new tactical display. The Empire had returned, just as expected, but this time they brought their real fleet. Thousands of ships filled the space beyond Jupiter, their numbers blocking out the stars. "Status report," Miller commanded, his voice steady despite the tension. Lieutenant Mark worked his controls quickly. "Over 3,000 Imperial ships detected, sir. They're moving in attack formation. Multiple super dreadnoughts identified." In the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Commander Tom Anderson watched the massive Imperial fleet approach. His forces were hidden among the rocks, waiting. Years of training in the belt had taught Earth's pilots how to use the asteroids for cover, turning the chaotic space into their perfect battleground. "All guerrilla units, maintain position," Anderson ordered through the secure channel. "Remember your training. Let them come to us." The Imperial fleet moved forward with confidence, their formation tight and disciplined. They had learned from their first defeat and brought overwhelming force. At their center, a massive ship nearly 10 kilometers long pushed through space like a floating city. "Imperial Commander Broadcasting," Lieutenant Mark announced. "Put them through," Miller ordered. A new alien face appeared on screen, more scared and battle-worn than Thex had been. "I am High Commander Dax of the Imperial First Fleet. Your resistance ends today. Surrender now, and we may spare your major cities." Miller didn't bother responding. Instead, he pressed a button on his chair. "Dr. Clark, are the orbital platforms ready?" "Yes, Admiral." Emma's voice came through clearly. "Jupiter Station is hot. Saturn's rings are armed. They won't know what hit them." The Imperial fleet reached Jupiter's orbit. They passed the giant planet cautiously, expecting resistance. They found none. High Commander Dax allowed himself a smile, thinking Earth had exhausted its defenses in the first battle. Then Jupiter's largest moon, Ganymede, disappeared. "What?" Dax stood from his command chair as his sensors went crazy. Where Ganymede had been, a massive space station now floated, its surface covered in weapon ports. "Now," Miller commanded. Jupiter Station opened fire. Thousands of quantum torpedoes launched simultaneously, each one targeting a specific Imperial ship. At the same time, the rings of Saturn lit up with hidden energy platforms, catching the Imperial fleet in a devastating crossfire. "All units, execute Plan Thunder," Commander Anderson ordered. His ships burst from their hiding places in the asteroid belt, using the chaos and confusion to strike at the Imperial fleet's flanks. The Empire's tight formation worked against them. Their ships were too close together, making it impossible to dodge the hurricane of weapons fire coming from multiple directions. Dozens of vessels exploded in the first minute alone. "Impossible," Dax shouted as his flagship rocked with impacts. How did they hide an entire station? How did they weaponize a planet's rings? On Earth, President Wilson watched the battle from the underground command center. "Dr. Clark, launch the Phoenix squadrons. Let's end this." Earth's advanced ships rose from their hidden bases once again, but this time they didn't bother with stealth. They charged straight for the Imperial fleet, their improved engines leaving trails of blue fire across space. "All Phoenix units," Captain Gray's voice rang through the comm. "Target their command ships. Don't let them regroup." The battle turned into chaos as Earth's forces struck from every direction. The Empire's superior numbers meant nothing in the asteroid belt, where Earth's smaller ships used the terrain to their advantage. Every rock became a potential hiding spot, every shadow a launch point for another attack. "Admiral," Lieutenant Mark reported with a hint of pride, "enemy fleet is showing signs of breaking. Their formation is collapsing." Miller nodded. "Send the message." All across the battlefield, Earth's forces transmitted the same words to the Imperial fleet. "The solar system is closed. This is your only warning." As their ships exploded around them, the Empire finally began to understand. They hadn't just underestimated Earth's technology, they had underestimated humanity's determination to remain free. News of Earth's victory spread through the Empire like wildfire. In the grand halls of the Imperial Palace on the capital world, Emperor Vex faced his first real crisis in 300 years of rule. The massive golden chamber, usually filled with loyal servants, now held angry voices and dangerous questions. How could primitive humans defeat our best fleets? Demanded Lord Rex of the inner worlds, his voice echoing off the crystal walls. 2 battles, 2 fleets lost. This is unthinkable. The Emperor sat on his throne, watching the chaos unfold. Representatives from 20 different alien species argued among themselves. Some demanded immediate revenge against Earth. Others whispered about how a small planet could resist the Empire's might. On a secure channel far from the capital, Admiral Miller spoke with an unexpected ally. The alien on his screen looked similar to the other Imperial officers, but his uniform lacked the Empire's golden symbols. "My name is Commander Axel," the alien said quietly. "I represent the Free Worlds movement. We've been watching Earth's resistance with great interest." Miller leaned forward. "You're not the only ones watching, I assume." "No," Axel agreed. "Every subjugated world in the Empire has seen what you've done. A single planet standing against the Empire's full might. And winning. You've given them hope." In the Imperial Palace, more bad news arrived. A young messenger rushed into the chamber, interrupting the heated debate. "Your Imperial Majesty, the mining worlds of System 847 have declared independence. They're using Earth's defense technologies." Before the Emperor could respond, another messenger arrived. "The Traitors Alliance has refused to transport Imperial troops. They say they won't fight against Earth." Emperor Vex stood up, his face dark with rage. How? How are they getting Earth's weapons?" Dr. Emma Clark smiled as she read the reports in her underground facility. The crashed Imperial ships hadn't just given Earth technology. They had provided detailed maps of Imperial space. For months, Earth had been secretly sharing their defensive systems with other worlds who wanted freedom. "Send the next package," she ordered her team. "Let's help some more friends." Back in the palace, the Emperor faced a growing rebellion. Lord Rex pointed an accusing finger at the throne. "You said Earth was primitive. You said they were easy prey. Now look, 12 systems in rebellion, using their technology. The humans aren't just defending themselves, they're destroying the Empire from within." Admiral Miller's conversation with Commander Axel continued. "We can help more worlds break free," Miller offered. "But we need information. Fleet movements, defense codes, communication channels. You'll have them," Axel promised. "Half the Imperial fleet secretly supports our cause now. They've seen how the Empire's lies about Earth's weakness led to disaster. No one believes in their superiority anymore." In the palace, Emperor Vex made a final desperate move. "Send the Imperial Guard. Crush these rebellions. Show them the true power of—" "No." The word echoed through the chamber. High General Max, commander of the Imperial Guard and veteran of 1,000 battles, stepped forward. "We will not attack Earth or any world using their defenses," Max declared. "This empire has ruled through fear and lies for too long. Earth has shown us a better way." Emperor Vex sank back onto his throne as more officials sided with the general. Centuries of absolute power were crumbling because of one small planet that refused to submit. In Earth's command center, Admiral Miller shared the news with the World Council. The Empire is fracturing. Their own military is turning against them. And it's not just because we beat them in battle. "Why then?" President Wilson asked. "Because we showed them something they'd forgotten," Miller explained. "We showed them that standing up to tyranny is possible. Earth didn't just win a war today. We started a revolution." Across Imperial space, more worlds began to rise, and at the heart of it all was the planet that dared to say no to an empire. Dr. Emma Clark stood in her lab, surrounded by holographic displays showing her latest creation. After months of work, Project Lightbringer was ready. The device looked simple, a small silver sphere that could fit in one hand, but it contained humanity's most advanced technology. "Testing final sequence," she announced to her team. In the test chamber, an old Imperial engine salvaged from a crashed ship hummed to life. Emma activated her device. The engine died instantly. Admiral Miller watched the test results from the command center. "It works. Better than we hoped," Emma replied, her eyes bright with excitement. "The quantum field completely shuts down their faster-than-light drives. No explosion, no damage. They just stop working. And the effect is permanent until we reverse it. How many can we make?" "Thousands. The hard part was creating the first one. Now we can copy it easily." The news couldn't have come at a better time. On the main display, sensors showed a massive Imperial fleet approaching, the largest yet. But this time, it wasn't just Empire ships. Rebel vessels from a dozen different alien worlds flew alongside Earth's forces. Commander Axel's face appeared on the screen. "Earth Command, the Empire has committed their entire remaining loyal fleet to this attack. Over 5,000 ships. They're desperate to crush this rebellion before it spreads further." Miller nodded. "And how many ships support our side?" 2,000 rebel vessels, plus your forces. We're outnumbered, but..." Axel smiled. "After seeing what Earth did to their other fleets, I like our odds." In space, the Imperial fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel near Jupiter. Their formation was perfect, their weapons charged. At their head flew the Emperor's personal flagship, a massive vessel 20 kilometers long. Emperor Vex himself stood on its bridge, his face twisted with rage. No more games, no more waiting. Burn their world to ash. But Earth was ready. Hidden platforms around Mars activated, launching thousands of Emma's silver spheres into space. They moved faster than anything the Empire had ever seen, spreading out like a glittering net. "All ships, hold position." Miller commanded both Earth and Rebel forces. "Let them come to us." The Imperial fleet charged forward, exactly as planned. They never saw the danger until it was too late. The silver spheres activated simultaneously, creating a massive quantum field. Every Imperial ship stopped dead in space. "What is this?" Emperor Vex screamed as his mighty flagship drifted helplessly. "What have they done?" "Target their weapons first," Miller ordered. Earth's fleet moved forward, joined by rebel ships. Without faster-than-light drives, the Imperial vessels were sitting ducks. The battle that followed wasn't really a battle at all. It was a surrender. Ship after ship gave up as their weapons failed and their engines died. The mighty Imperial fleet, terror of 1,000 worlds, was defeated not by superior firepower, but by human ingenuity. "Admiral," Lieutenant Mark reported, 90% of Imperial ships have surrendered. The rest are powering down their weapons. On the Emperor's flagship, the bridge crew turned to face their leader. One by one, they stepped away from their posts. "You can't do this." Vex rage. "I am your Emperor." "Not anymore," said his own guard captain, raising a weapon. In Earth's command center, Miller opened a channel to all ships, Empire and Rebel alike. "This is Earth Command. The war is over. All ships powering down their weapons will be treated with respect. All crew will be granted safe passage." Dr. Clark watched from her lab as surrender signals flooded in. "We did it," she whispered. "We actually did it." "Not yet," Miller replied. "We've won the battle, but now comes the hard part." "What's that?" "Building a better galaxy than the one the Empire created, and humanity will need to lead the way." Around Jupiter, the greatest fleet in Imperial history floated powerless, while the ships of Earth and their new allies prepared to bring freedom to the stars. 1 month after the Great Battle, representatives from 100 worlds gathered in the newly built Galactic Assembly in Geneva. The massive hall, with its glass dome showing Earth's sky above, was humanity's gift to their new allies. Where once the Empire had forced obedience, now free worlds came together as equals. Admiral Miller stood at the main podium, looking out at the diverse crowd. Aliens of all shapes and sizes sat alongside human delegates, former enemies now working together for a better future. "The war is over," he began, his voice carrying to every corner of the hall. "The Empire as we knew it has ended. Now we must decide what comes next." In orbit, Earth's defense platforms remained active, but they were joined by ships from dozens of alien worlds. The combined fleet stood guard not over a battlefield, but a symbol of hope. President Wilson took the podium next. "Today, Earth makes its position clear. We present the Sol Doctrine." Dr. Emma Clark activated the main display, showing a document that would change the galaxy forever. The Sol Doctrine was simple but powerful, a declaration of principles that would guide the new era. First, Wilson announced, "Earth and the solar system remain independent. We will not join any empire, federation, or union that claims authority over our home." Former imperial worlds nodded in understanding. They had learned the hard way that humanity valued freedom above all else. Second, Earth offers alliance and friendship to all free worlds. Our technology, our knowledge, and our help are available to any civilization that respects the rights of others. Commander Axel, now representing the Free Worlds Alliance, stood up. "Earth has already proven this commitment. Their defense systems protect 20 worlds now, with more asking every day." Third, Wilson continued, "We declare the end of conquest as a way of expansion. No world may be forced to join another. No civilization may claim ownership of those who wish to be free." In the Imperial Palace, now controlled by a council of free worlds, the former emperor's throne was being melted down. Its gold would be used to build schools on worlds the Empire had kept in darkness. Finally, Wilson's voice grew stronger. "Earth pledges to stand against any force that threatens freedom in this galaxy. We are not conquerors. We are not rulers. We are guardians." The assembly erupted in applause. Aliens who had once fought each other now stood together, united not by force but by choice. Admiral Miller returned to the podium. "Some asked why we didn't use our technology to build an empire of our own. They don't understand humanity. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We want to help it grow." Dr. Clark presented the next phase of Earth's plan. The display showed new technologies, clean energy systems, advanced medical equipment, improved farming methods, all freely shared with their allies. "The Empire kept worlds dependent through fear and limited technology," she explained. "Earth believes in lifting others up. Strong allies make better friends than fearful servants." In space, ships from Earth and the free worlds began joint patrols. Their mission was not to enforce rule, but to protect trade routes and answer calls for help. Where imperial ships had brought fear, these combined fleets brought hope. President Wilson made the final declaration. "Let this day be remembered not as the end of an empire, but as the beginning of true cooperation between worlds." Earth's message to the galaxy is simple. No one owns the stars. They belong to all of us. The Assembly adopted the Sol Doctrine unanimously. As the votes were counted, Admiral Miller looked out at Earth's blue sky through the glass dome. "Did we do the right thing?" President Wilson asked quietly beside him. Miller smiled. "We did the human thing. We saw tyranny, and we fought it. We gained power, and we chose to share it. That's who we are." Above them, ships from 100 worlds flew together in formation, no longer divided by imperial borders or ancient fears. The galaxy was entering a new age, and humanity had shown the way. Earth had declared more than independence. It had declared a new beginning.